Joining us right now to talk about the law in Arizona and so much more is our friend Rick Santorum, former senator of the great state of Pennsylvania. Hello, sir.
How are you, Mr. Malsberg?
How are you, Mr. Santorum?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good. I'm glad. All right, let's start first with what the people of Arizona did. Again, you know, the media and the administration and the Al Sharptons will portray it as racist. 60% of Americans in the latest poll favor it, including an overwhelming majority of Republicans, independents, and Democrats are even split. And the people of Arizona, 70% of them approve of it. Profiling has been turned into a dirty word by the likes of Sharpton, but profiling is how you do police work.
Well, yeah, certainly there's an element of police work that, you know, if the people committing crimes look a certain way, you're foolish not to include that as part of your police work. And you know, that's not profiling. That is doing your job and understanding, you know, what's happening. And the fact of the matter is that the vast majority of people crossing the border are Mexicans. That's just the reality. And if they were something else, then we'd be profiling something else. But they are what they are. And the problem is the federal government has done a lousy job in policing our southern border, the Arizona border. And the people of Arizona, as a state, you know, have the right to protect their own sovereignty. And that's what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. All right, let's talk about immigration reform now, so-called immigration reform. It appears so likely that this is what they're going to go after next and tackle next, even though, again, not only does the public not want it, they don't care about it. I mean, the public, for the most part, on their list of priorities, it's way, way, way down the bottom. But because the Hispanic Congressman Gutierrez has threatened that Hispanics will stay home if he has his way, if immigration reform isn't addressed before November, they're going to do it. And Lindsey Graham has now dropped out of the negotiations for the climate bill, thank God. But he did that because he doesn't like the fact that immigration reform has now taken top billing. This administration is just going to try to ram every single thing through that they can.
Well, here's what I believe, that what's happening with immigration is not an attempt to actually pass the bill. I think this is a cynical attempt to try to amp up, as Congressman Gutierrez said, this is a cynical attempt to try to further turn Hispanics away from Republicans. They have no intention, and because they know they can't pass an immigration bill of any real consequence through the House and Senate this time around, and because of the economy, if not for anything else. And so what they're going to do is probably just in the House create this tension that somehow Republicans are anti-Hispanic, anti-Latino, and use that as a way to do what President Obama did just the other day when he was calling on women and blacks and
well, I got that cut, Senator. I got that cut. Let's play it. He was addressing the DNC, and here's what he said. Cut 2.
It will be up to each of you to make sure that the young people, African Americans, Latinos, and women who powered our victory in 2008 stand together once again.
Can you imagine George W. Bush in 2004 saying we need all the white men out there to come out and vote again like they did in 2000?
You know, it is typical of a socialist or someone who believes in socialist ideology. There's an old joke about socialists that they love people in groups of 1 million or more. And that's exactly the way he looks at the world, Steve. He looks at people as members of groups. He looks at people as interest groups of folks that you can sway and influence. And he is a great divider. I mean, here's a man who came in with the idea that there were no red states and blue states and that we were all Americans. And all he has done throughout the course of his entire presidency is divide into classes and into interest groups and into races and into sexes. And it's just, I think America has had about enough of this.
Yeah, I really do. Can you, again, what do you, well, it's ridiculous. It's a rhetorical question, but it's rhetorical on everything. Of course, if this had been George Bush telling white people to come out and vote and reelect him, there would have been an outrage. And again, you know, this whole Blagojevich thing, where something that was redacted, evidence that was redacted, was accidentally made public, and Blagojevich's attorneys believe that they have evidence that Obama lied when he said he didn't talk to Blagojevich about the Senate seat to replace him in the Senate before he was sworn in, and also lied about a relationship with Tony Rezko. There's all kinds of accusations that if it was a Republican, or Bush specifically, or you, the New York Times would be doing a series on it.
It is amazing that he is being implicated. This is not just some story being written by by the National Enquirer. I mean, this is going on in a court of law right now, and this is evidence that's being put forward. And you're right, it's being ignored because of the favored status of being a liberal in this country by the mainstream media. But ultimately, if this story continues, it will be covered. Thanks be to God, we have talk radio, we have the internet, and we have other places for people to get their information. And the mainstream media will be forced to deal with this at some point.
What are you up to? Where are you traveling around, Senator?
Well, actually, I'm sitting here ready to walk out of my car and go coach my son's Little League baseball.
That's the best. My kid had a triple and 2 walks on Saturday.
That's pretty good. I have 2 boys playing on the same team. I was a little curious. They were the only 2 kids hit by the opposing pitcher on the team.
Uh-oh.
So I'm starting to wonder whether there's some politics going on.
Well, you know what? That's never far from my mind either. Senator, enjoy. That's the best place you could be going. Thank you, sir.
You bet, buddy.
Bye-bye. Senator Rick Santorum, ladies and gentlemen, former senator from the great state of Pennsylvania.